Krishna, if possible, we can just discuss that at the end of the session.
Okay, ma'am. It's fine.
Yes. Good evening, everyone. Am I audible? And I have shared my screen. Kindly acknowledge if my screen is visible.
Yes, ma'am, it's visible.
Good evening, ma'am.
Ma'am.
All right. Okay. So in today's session, we'll be discussing about the arrays and then how to use pointers in an array and then the strings. Do you have any idea like what is point?
Ma'am, repeat please.
What is pointers?
Ma'am, pointer stores the address of another variables.
Yes. So pointer is nothing but to store the address of a variable or the values. Like we'll store the value in a variable and its address can be stored in this point. Okay. Right. So here, how to use it in the arrays. So that's what we are going to discuss as well. Okay. What is meant by an array? Any idea?
Yes, ma'am. Array stores the value of a same data type in a contiguous uh, memory location.
Okay. Good. Others, what's your idea on that?
Array stores the same data types in a same.
Variable. Yes. So array is nothing but we have to store a value. Let's say I have to store the marks of a lavish. So what I have to do? So let's say let's take the normalist. I have to store the English mark, and then second language mark, maths, and then let's say it is of science, and then social. I'm just taking the common subjects here. Okay. So if I have to store all the 5 marks of a single student. So similarly, I have 100 people in the class. So what will happen? How many variables can be used in this?
100, ma'am.
Yeah. So if I use 100 variable, like let's say there are 5 students. I mean, like one student has for one student we have to take 5 subjects mark. So let's say as a name method we are using 5 variables per person. So how many variables it will be? 500 variables, right? Background noise. Hold on, people. I'll check. 1 minute. Is my voice is clear now?
Yes, ma'am. Now it's okay.
Yeah, great. So now the thing is, let's say we are taking up 500 values. I mean, like for each person, I'm just using five variables. So in total, it will be like a 500 variables. So it's very hard to remember as well, right? Like 500 variables, it's very hard to remember. So for that only, to overcome that, what we are using is this arrays. Okay, so what you can do is, you don't need to create 100 variables also. What you can do is, you can create an array inside which you can store the 100 students' name. And for each student, there is a 5 subjects. So you can like create it like this, right? Is this clear?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay, so for one student, so generally arrays can be denoted with these square braces. So we have to make sure first element is of English mark, second element is of second language, then maths, then science, and then the social mark. So the same way I can follow for the all the 100 students. So this is so if I store for the second person, the same order, third person, the same order. So similarly, I'm using for all the 100 people. Okay, so this is said to be a nested array. Okay, so generally, if I store only 5 elements, it is said to be an array. This is an array inside an array. Is this clear, people?
Yes, ma'am.
All right, great. So in the similar way, let's say for an array, what will happen here is, if you use this, like initially, if I'm creating an array with 5 elements, so I can be able to use only the space of only 5 elements. Let's say I'm just storing the values as 1, 2, 3, and 4 and 5. I can change the values, but I cannot change this number of elements inside it. Okay, so the number of elements inside will be always 5. It will not be increased. So we'll say this as a static one. Okay. Similarly, I can be able to give 5 instead of 5. I can just give 4 also. But the space is allocated for 5 elements. Okay. Is this clear, people?
Yes, ma'am, it's clear.
Okay. So generally, how will you get the input from the user?
Through a scanner.
Yes. The same way we have, using a loop. Okay. So for a single value, you can just use a scanf, right? Scanf quotation. What has to be the forward specifier? Okay. If it is of an integer, we'll use percentile %d. If it is of character,
Percentage.
Percent C.
yes, super people. And how about string?
Ma'am,
For
it is
string.
same as character, but in a long manner.
Yeah. For that, we can use percentile %s. S is for string. Okay. And for float,
LF.
it's only F. LF is for the double values. So percentile F is for float. Is these things clear, people? Great. So now let's say I have to create, like generally how will we write a program for getting a single value from the user? We'll use this scanf, right? Am I audible, people?
Yes, ma'am.
Yeah. Okay. So the thing is, let's say we'll use a scanf, right? So it will give it as scanf quotation percentile %d, comma amps. So first thing is how to create an array here. So first we have to give data type, and then we have to give the name of the array. So let's say I'm giving us array, and we have to mention its size here. So let's say I'm giving the size is 5. So this is the first way to create an array. So if you want to make a note of the syntax, you can note it down, people. So the syntax is data type, array name, and then the size. I'll just give a moment. So just note it down. Yes. Have you all noted?
Yes, ma'am.
So this is the way in case of a program. So I have to give a data type, variable, I mean like array name, and then the size of it. Okay. So you can just give it using the looping here. So for of int I is equal to. So here the generally indexing is from 0 to n minus 1. So, let's say here the size is 5. So the indexing will be from 0, 1, 2, 3 till 4. It will not go beyond it. Okay. So whatever is the, let's say English is the 0th index, second language is the first index, and maths is the second index, science is the third index, social is the fourth index. So this is how it works. We'll not count it from 1 to n. Here we'll count it from 0 to n minus 1. Is it clear?
Yes, ma'am.
Yes, ma'am.
Okay. So here I'm using the loop from 0 to till 5, and then I plus plus, and then I'm giving a scanf quotation percentile %d of array of I1. So here to access the particular element, we'll use it as array of I. So I in the sense of initially it is 0 and then it is 1, then 2, 3, till 4 it will work. Okay, let's say I have to print it. So for printing the array values, we can use the same. Just I'm going to change the print statement. That's it. And then the ampersand has to be written. To select the language for. Yeah. So here, let's say I'm giving the values as 78, 96 or 95, then 99, 26, and 10. $78, $95, $99, $26. Yeah, can you see people while printing? Whatever the value we have given, it gets printed. Similarly, let's say if I have to access the particular element, that is, I want to access I want to print 99. So what has to be done? If I want to get 99, what has to be the index value?
2, ma'am.
Array 2.
How it is to?
Array
Like 0,
2,
1.
because it starts from 0 memory location.
Yes.
Yes, ma'am. Then A double R
Hmm.
with big bracket.
Yes, exactly. Because here I have given the values as 78, 95, 99, 26, and 10. So the indexing will be from 0, 1, 2, 3, and 4. This is how the indexing will be. And how about memory allocation, people?
Ma'am, each memory locations is differ by 4
Yes, why it differs by 4?
because it is an integer types. So the size of integer is 4 byte.
Yes, perfect. Actually, the thing is, here it stores it stores the elements in the contiguous order. Nothing but it takes the block of elements. Okay. I hope the writings are visible, right?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay, let's say it is taking the memory from 1000. Okay, so the 78 will be occupied by 1000, 1001, 2, 3, 4. So till 3 it will be occupied. Okay, then 1004 to 1007. The next element occupies. That is none other than 95. Then 1008 to 1011. Till that 99 occupies. Then we have still two more elements. So let's say the first element is of 20, next element is 26, next is 10. So here it takes from 1012 to 1015 and 1016 to
1019.
yes. Till that the element 10 will be occupied. So this is how the memory will be. Okay, it stores in a block of memories like in a continuous order. That is first 78, then 95, then 99, 26, and then 10. Is this clear?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay, so here if I want to print 99, I have to give it as array of. Let me give it /. 95, 99, 26, and 10. Can you see we have accessed the 99? So it's nothing but the normal counting minus 1. That will be considered as the index value. Okay, the normal counting will start from 1. If I want to get the index, it has to be 1 minus 1. Similarly, if I have to access the fourth element, which means 4 minus 1 is 3. So index third will be 6. That is none other than the fourth value. Is this clear, people?
Yes, ma'am.
To everyone?
Yes,
Uh,
ma'am.
Okay.
Ma'am,
So if
will
I,
you please show us the try run for this code?
how it works?
Yes, ma'am.
Actually, it is nothing but I have just used the loops, right? You know how the loop works?
Yes, ma'am, I know how it work, but I should be less than 5. Then how it is printing 78, 70, 95?
Okay, I'll tell you. 0 is less than 5. Is the condition is true?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay, then I is incremented to 1, right?
Yes, ma'am.
Then 1 is less than 5. Is the condition is true?
Yes, ma'am.
So I is incremented to 2. In the next iteration, is 2 is less than 5?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay, I is equal to, then I is incremented to 3. Then is 3 is less than 5?
Yes, ma'am.
Condition is true. So I is incremented to 4. Then 4 is less than 5. Is the condition is true?
Yes, ma'am.
Then I is incremented to 5. So is 5 is less than 5?
No, ma'am.
No. How many times the loop works?
5 times.
Yeah. So here also we are storing in the array index of 0, array index of 1, array with index 2, array with index 3, and array with index 4. Generally, the indexing starts from 0 and ends with n minus 1. N is the number of elements. Till it's before element, it will get it as an index value. Is this thing clear, people?
Oh, okay, ma'am. Clear.
So here also it do the same way. Like array of 0 is none other than 78. Then 95 is taken. Then array of 2 is 99. Then array of 3 is 26. Then array of 4 is 10. So that is how it works. Is it clear?
Yes, ma'am.
Great. Okay. Now proceeding further, how to pass the arrays through a function? What is a function?
A function is a block of code that executes multiple times until the condition is satisfied.
Then how about recursion?
The function calling itself.
Ma'am, function is a simply block of code called by the another function.
Okay. Is every function is a recursion? Is every function is a recursion?
Yes.
No, ma'am.
Why it is yes, why it is no?
Ma'am, a
I mean,
function called a recursion if the base case is there. If not, then it's not recursion.
okay. Actually, okay, then my next question is every recursion is a function. Is that true or false?
I think it's true, ma'am.
Yeah.
True,
Actually,
ma'am.
it is true. Actually, it is true. Why? Because recursion in the sense of there will be a function call and then there will be a function definition part as well. Okay, let's say this is the function call. And this is of the function declaration part or definition part. Okay, so inside which we'll have a base condition for sure, which is to stop the recursion condition. Okay, so this is what we'll say it is a recursion. So in recursion, there is a function, but in function, no need. It's not mandatory to be a recursion because we can just give a function for an add. So there we'll give it as written a plus b. That's it, right? In that case, we cannot say that the function is a recursion part. Okay, so every recursion is a function, but every function is not a recursion. Is that clear?
Yes, ma'am.
Great. So here, if you have to give a function, what we have to give is like data type and then the array and then this braces is mandatory. If you have to give it in a function definition. Okay, if it is a function call, as usual, you can just give it as an A. That's it. I mean, whatever is the array variable, you can just give that. Okay. So only here you have to give what the data type is, array name, and then this braces is mandatory. Is it clear?
Ma'am, how to pass a array? For pointer, we will pass by the address of that variables. But in case of array, what will we pass?
I didn't get you.
Ma'am, I want to say that how to pass a array function.
This is how we'll just pass a array function. If the return type is also need to be an array, you can just give like int and then the braces. By this way, you can just return an array.
Okay, ma'am.
Okay,
Ma'am,
any
can you
doubts?
tell once every function is a recursion or what you tell later?
Yeah, just now I explained, right? Every function cannot be a recursion, but every recursion is a function because we can just create a function in the name of int add. And
Okay,
let's
ma'am.
say I have passed two parameters, that is int a, and then I have given the one more function as int b. So what it has to return is I'm just giving us return a plus b. Is it a recursion? Is it a recursion?
No, ma'am.
Exactly. So, but this is a function, right? Every function no need to be a recursion always. It can be a normal function too. But every recursion is a function because recursion in the sense of, let's say we take a factorial program. So factorial means f of n. So we'll give a base condition, that is if the n is equal to 0 or if the n is equal to 1, it has to return some value as 1. Otherwise, return n into function of n minus 2. Now, what it is, it's a recursion, right? Did have we called any function here? Is there any function in this recursion?
Yes, ma'am.
Of course, the fact itself is a function, right? Again, we are calling the function of fact again. Okay, so here this function calls itself. This is said to be a recursion. Okay, so every recursion will be a function, but every function is not a recursion. Is it clear?
Yes.
Yeah, please, Krishna. Okay, if you want to make a note of this, you can note it down, people. This is how we'll give the function in an array. If you want to pass function as a parameter or an argument, you can just use this way. The return type can be any. It's not need to be only void always. It can be any value, like integer or whatever it is. So just make a note of this, how to give this. I'll give you a moment of time. Yes, ma'am. Have you all noted?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay. And so, yeah. So let's say if I have to calculate the sum of the array, how to do that? So this is the way I have given how to create an array and how to print its values. Now let's say I have to add all the elements in an array. How to do that?
Ma'am, we can do array I is array I plus is equal to array I.
No.
Yeah, by using pointer arithmetic.
Okay, but We can just normally use a variable, right? You can use a variable to store the added values. Is that fine?
Yes, ma'am.
Because the array shouldn't be disturbed, right? So you can just use any values, I mean, like any variable to get that value, and you can just keep adding it. People, do you want me to try for this question?
Yes, ma'am. Sure.
Others? Okay. I'm pinning this question as well. You can just check it, people. So write a code for this. I'll just give you a 3 minutes of time. Try to complete.
Hello, ma'am.
Yes.
Is there any task given to us?
Yeah. I have pinned in chat box as well. So write a program for adding the elements in an array. Sum of array elements.
Okay, ma'am.
Partially right, Ravi. You can just check what is the error in this. Of course, this will give you an error, but partially right. So check it and correct your code. Anyway, good error.
Okay.
Yes, people, have you all tried?
Ma'am, almost done. Just give me 1 minute.
Ma'am, 2 minutes. Only for 2 minutes.
I'll try. Yes, good. Still one more error is there. Anyway, it's very good attempt. Others, have you all completed? No? Yes, good, Krishna. Let's wait for one more minute for others to try. Ravikant, have you checked what is the error in your code?
Ma'am, currently I am not able to detect.
Not an issue. I'll just take your code and we can just try what is the issue. Okay.
Yeah, ma'am.
Others, have you all completed? No.
I think sum is not declared.
Yes. Other than that, so before starting of this loop, sum has to be declared as well as initialized. Why it has to be initialized?
Because we have to use the out of for loop.
Repeat.
Ma'am, because we have to use a sum as a variable out of the for loop.
Not only that, you need to add, right? You are adding it to some value. So if you didn't initialize the value to be 0, you will just take some garbage value. That should not be there. Okay.
Yes. Yes, yes.
As well as, how about the size? Have you declared it anywhere or initialized it anywhere?
We can initialize with a uh, int size.
Will come to your code. Sorry, I have to give size.
Yes.
So how to find the size of this?
Now we can use size of operator.
Okay. Other than that,
We can directly tell by seeing that array.
yeah. So either you can use the size of method or you can just
Array
use
file.
the array as a static.
Yes, an array file.
Yeah. So
Okay.
that is none other than we can just give it as n is equal to the size of the array divided by size of a data type. So what the data type here is?
int.
Yes, so I have to give it as an int here. Or you can just give it as an array of 0. Both the things are fine. Okay, so by that way, you can just take the size of it. So just run this code. Yeah, so all the elements added up are 15. So here, which means it has taken the size as 5 only. It's correct, right?
Yes, ma'am.
So is this thing clear to everyone?
Ma'am, can you please my code and check the bug?
Yeah, I'll check that now. And before that, do you have any doubt in this code?
Ma'am, size of is predefined function, ma'am.
Yes, it's a predefined function, which means it gives what is the size of this array.
Okay, ma'am.
Ma'am, size of is a function or operator?
Yeah, it's an operator, sorry. In operators also I have mentioned, right? Size of is an operator.
Yeah, that's why I'm confused.
Yeah, it's an operator. Okay, so before, okay, so now let me just use the code which you have sent. So in here 5 is declared. So I can just give 5 elements. Okay, here you have used the space, right?
What does the space means?
It will just ignore some space as well. Let's say instead of giving like this, if I'm giving it in a new line also, it will just ignore the first space. So that's why previously some values are ignored. So that's why it keeps getting the this one. Okay.
Okay.
Let's see. If I'm giving it like this, let me give the same values as 78, 99, 23, 67, and 23. See, this I'm getting the values because it is trying to use some spaces. So we can just ignore the space and scan. That is why you are getting that something. Okay.
Yeah, ma'am. Okay.
Because after 23, I didn't give space, so it is asking for something to enter. If I just give space or something like that, it can be able to get. Okay. All right, Sayed. Okay, now moving to the next topic. Okay, how to find the minimum element in this array?
Uh, Ma'am, can you please repeat?
How to find the minimum or maximum element in this? Any idea?
Yeah, ma'am.
Yeah, how do you do that?
Ma'am, minimum can be found at the zero address locations.
I'm not getting it.
Ma'am, We can use loop and if else conditions for that.
Yes, we need to use an if or else. If condition has to be there to check whether the value is maximum or okay. Generally, how will you find the maximum of three elements?
By checking one by one, like A is greater than B and also A is greater than C or not.
There we know it's static that either one element or three element. I mean, like either two elements has to be compared or three element has to be compared. That it is static. Here we have to all the elements in an array. So we have to use a loop for this because the array size can be n. So here, let's say, people, do you want to give it a try or shall we just go ahead with the program? Yes, people, do you want to give it a try?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay, I'll just give 4 minutes to give it a try, people. After that, we'll start to discuss. Okay, so find the maximum in the Yes, ma'am. Have you all completed the code? We will give it a try at least.
Ma'am, can I share my code which I have tried?
Okay, so you have just ticked initialized, okay. And if the array of I is greater than max. Okay, this is good, right? Yes, this is fine. Good, Krishna. Good, Ravikant, excellent. Okay, you're just checking only with the adjacent elements. What if the array elements are like this? Let's say initially it is 99. So it will just check I and I plus 1. Then let's say the next element is 78. So only these both are checked. So now the max is, like here this will take max is 99. So after that, let's say it's 67. Now only these two are compared, out of which is maximum, that is reached. Here you are again and again reinitializing, but you are not keeping a track of that. Is that clear?
Yes, ma'am.
So what you can do is you can just use a so what you have tried is partially right, like which means you can just make use of the max and then you can just store in the max and you have to compare it only with the max value. This is nothing bad. Let's say here I'm giving us max is equal to the array of 0. What is the purpose of taking array of 0?
Ma'am, because it's checking from the base to memory locations.
Actually, what happens is in this array, there can be a possibility of negative values also. What if the array completely contains a negative value like minus 6 and minus 5 and minus 24, something like this? So if I consider that max is 0, all these elements are lesser than that. So what will be the answer then?
Uh, Answer will be minus
0. No, 0 will be the value. Because I have initialized max as 0, the array elements will never be greater than this. So to avoid this, what you can do is, there is two ways. One is storing the array of 0 to the max and then comparing with all the other elements. This is one way, as Ravikant mentioned as Ravikant tried. The other way is giving us m is equal to minus 2147483648. Can anyone just remember what number it is? Any of you remember this number?
it's a very big number, small number.
Repeat.
Ma'am, it is negative and it is very small number.
Okay. So actually, that is the end of the integer range. Do you remember when we are mentioning about the array range? I have mentioned about this number. That is why we are not able to give the phone number as an integer value. Any of you remember that?
No, ma'am, I will not remember.
Not an issue. So this is the highest integer range. Highest integer range is 2147483647. So it starts from minus 2147483648. From here to this. This is the range of an integer. We cannot go beyond this level. Okay. So that's why we are not able to give the phone number in the integer. We can just give this as the maximum number. Is that clear?
Yes, ma'am.
So here you can just initialize m with this value because we are not going to give above this. I mean, like below this, we are not going to give. So you can just give this as an integer range. I mean, m maximum value, and then you can start checking it. So when I'm comparing with this, minus 24 is greater. So minus 24 becomes the maximum. Then comparing with the other element, minus 6 becomes the maximum. Then minus 5 becomes the maximum. That is the maximum of all. Is that clear, people?
Yes, ma'am.
Great. So this is also one of the way to find it. Or else, as mentioned by Ravikant, you can just store the array of 0 to avoid confusions. If you are not able to remember this value, you can just give integer dot minimum value. You can just use that method, or you can give that method straight away, or you can just store the array of 0 to the maximum value. Then you have to give a loop condition here. This if of a of I is greater than the max value. So what I have to do, array has max has to be reinitialized with a of I.
Yes, ma'am.
It's clear?
And printf percentile d max.
Yes, that's it. People, do you want me to explain how this works?
Yes, ma'am.
Oh, she is saying yes. Do you want me to explain this, or we can just proceed with the next questions?
Ma'am, proceed with the next question.
Okay, others, I got reply from only 2 people. Others? All right. Okay, then proceeding further, people, we are now going to discuss about the pointer arithmetic. Okay, so here, let's say if I have to use a pointer in an array, we can just give it as star PTR like this. Star PTR is equal to whatever the array has to be. Array has to be like it has to be initial. Like if we have to assign, we can just give that array here. Okay, as I mentioned earlier, how the array works, it takes the contiguous memory, which means let's say it takes from 1001. So the 10 is occupied from 1001 to till which number, people?
1003. 1004.
Because 1, 2, 3, 4, it has to take 4 elements. I mean
Yes.
4 byte size. So similarly for 20, it will store till 1008.
1008.
Similarly for 30, it is 1012. Then for 40, it will take
16.
yes. Then for storing the next element, it has to take till 1020. Okay, so this is how it works. So if I give it a star PTR means in the address, I mean like we are going to store the address of an array, which means it points the 10. Whatever is the first element that is pointed towards that pointer. If I give it as plus plus, which means star PTR plus 1. What does it mean? It is taking the
It means 1005.
yes, because here pointer value was 1001 plus we have like which is nothing but 1001 into
Size of inflation.
yeah we have to not into 4, it has to be like
Plus 1 into size of int.
yes, plus 1 into size of the integer, that is none other than 4. That way we have to check. Okay, so similarly I'll just let's say star PTR plus 15. Then which value it refers to?
It refers to 101 plus 2 into 4.
Yes, which is none other than 8, which means 1009. In 1009th location, what element is there?
Yes, ma'am.
Similarly, star PTR plus 3, which means what is the pointer? It starts with this 1001 plus 3 into 4,
That is 1013.
which means yes. So 1013 is the memory location starting of the fourth element. Is this clear, people,
Yes, ma'am.
Yes, ma'am.
to everyone?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay. So generally, how will we denote an array? We'll just give it as the index value. So if you can just give it as a of 1, or else if you want to use the pointer, you can just give it as PTR plus 1. This is also yes. Is that clear? Yes, everyone.
Yes, ma'am. Clear.
Ma'am, clear.
Okay. Yeah, you can see here. If it is of character also, we can just use the same thing. So plus 2 means it will just access the next character in that, like second from the starting, something like that. Yeah, this is the way to access the element star PTR plus 2, which means this is PTR plus 1, PTR plus 2. So if you want to make a note of this, you can note it down, which is nothing but PTR plus traces of I. It's similar to that. So if you want to make a note of this, you can note it down. I'll just give you a moment. Which means it will take the second element, which is similar to star PTR plus 1, like this. Similar to this. Yeah. Do you have any doubts so far, people?
Yes, ma'am. Why we are storing this in a pointer? Like, why can't do this in array itself?
Yeah, you can just use it in an array. Parallelly, you can use it arrays, pointers as well. You can just use both. Like if you're using an array, you can just give it as um,
Okay,
okay,
ma'am.
let's see if I'm just using the pointer, I can just use star, I mean the plus I, something like that. We just use to access the element. Parallel, we can just use the braces like square braces to represent an array. Using that also you can be able to. It's like two methods. Okay, so far is that clear, people? Alright. So next topic that we are going to discuss is of strings. So what is a string?
String a collection of characters.
Yes.
Yes,
So
ma'am.
how about arrays? Arrays is a collection of the same data type like integer or character, whatever it can be. Similarly, strings is a character. It's a sequence of characters. Okay, let's say I'm writing my name. It's Umaya. So this is considered as a string. If I just give only you, this is nothing but
Character.
character. So this is a character, and this is of string. Okay, which means I can just give the continuous elements. I can just write anything. Like even this word itself is a string. Okay, is this clear, people, so far?
Yes, ma'am.
Yes, ma'am.
Yes, ma'am.
Okay,
So, ma'am, can we say that the string is just a bunch of characters?
you can just give it as Umaya 26 also. So it is also a sequence of characters, right?
Oh, okay, ma'am.
Okay, you can just add whatever the values can be if you give it in a double quote. Okay, fine. So next is to represent it, we can just use the if I want to print it or something like that, you can use percentile s in the format specified to print the string characters or string elements. So next is how to get it from the user thing. You can just how to represent it. So character yes braces and then you can just give the name or whatever it is. You can just give it in this way because it's a character array. So you have to give character s braces is equal to whatever the value to be given. Is this clear?
Okay, ma'am.
So you can just check with the examples. And similarly, you can just use it as a pointer also, which is star str2 is equal to a hello world. Either you can use it like the character array or you can use it as a pointer for the instead of a character array. And people, you all remember what is call by value and call by reference?
Yes, ma'am.
Yes, what is call by value and what is call by reference?
Call by value means it calls the uh, function by its value.
Okay, then how about call by reference? Call by reference in this episode, we'll just give it as ampersand t. So in the function declaration, you can just use star t and you can be able to access it. Can you all able to remember now?
Yes, ma'am.
Value in the sense of we'll just give the values like we'll just give x and y, and in the function declaration we can just use any variable to because we are passing its value only. If it is a call by reference, the whole like, whatever is the initial element it is, the value gets changed. So this is call by reference. In call by reference, the original value gets changed.
Yes, ma'am.
Is that clear, people?
Ma'am, can you please repeat once?
Which one, dear?
Call by reference and call by value.
Yeah, sure. So call by reference in the sense of, let's say I have to swap two values. So what will we do? How will we swap two values? We'll just give it as, let's say I'm giving a swap of a comma b. This is a function call. Okay, in function, here let me give it as void swap of int x comma into y. Then I have to give it as, let's say I'm just giving int t is equal to x and x is equal to y and y is equal to x. So this is how we'll give, right? Sorry, t. And you can just give the print statement for x and y. Is this you will give, right? So this is an example of call by value. because I just want to know what is the value, something like this. Okay, so if it is of call by reference, we'll give it as swap underscore of a comma. So while passing the values, we'll give it as address. How to pass the address as a parameter?
Pointer, using pointer.
No, first we have to use the address, right?
Oh, okay.
Ampersand in the function call. Then in the definition part, we can just give it as void swap underscore of. Here we have to make use of a pointer. That is star a comma star b. Okay, so what I have to do here is I have to just use the int t, and t is equal to star x, sorry, star a. Similarly, star a equal to star b, and star b is equal to t. So now, after this function call, if I try printing the x and y value, the values will be changed. That is, now the x value will be like now the a value will be the swapped value, and b value will also be the swapped value. But here, if I try to print the x and like a and b values, it will remain the same because we haven't altered the a value. Just we have swapped it using the method or a function. Is this clear?
Yes, ma'am. Clear.
Because here the actual and the formal parameters both refers to the same place. But here, in case of call by value, it takes a different place.
Yeah, ma'am. Clear.
Okay. Fine. Next is of string input operations. Either you can use scanf or you can use fgetsof. Okay. So fgetsof in the sense of we can just give the limit of it as well. It is similar to this. So fgetsof string comma size of a string and std in. So that is to get the input using the fgets. Scanf in the sense of as usual you can use %s and then the string like this. Okay, you can just make a note of both the steps, people, like how to get it in the using the scanf, and this is using the fgets. Fgets is similar to the scanf to get the input from the user. I'll just give you a moment, just note it down. Yeah, sure, Krishna. So fgetsof in the sense of first we have to get it like fgetsof, and then we have to give what the variable is, and then the size of. So size of in the sense of how many elements it can hold. Okay, and then we are just giving the standard in, which is nothing but it has to use the standard input to get the input from the user. And here, using fgetsof, if there is a new line in the sense of, let's say, I'm just giving the thing is okay. So after this a space, I'm just writing the another word. Okay. So now what happens? Still Ume Lakshmi, it will get it as an input. This will not be taken as an input because until it's a space, until or else you can say until it's a new line, it will start getting the input. Okay, so this is the usage of fkits. The same with the scanner also. So here also you can be able to use the, like, until it's a space is encountered, it will keep reading the input. Okay, so here either it's a new line or until the maximum number reached, it will keep getting the input.
And ma'am, we give the size of a string so that we can store maximum number of strings, right?
Yeah, which means whatever the size of we have given, like here the size is 100. So till the 100 elements, it can keep getting the input.
And ma'am, can you please run a sample code for this?
Yeah, sure.
Ma'am, I think it takes 100 characters as an input.
Yeah, until it's a space. Space is also countable here.
Yes, ma'am.
Yeah, let me run this code. See, when I click enter also, it is working. So whenever it is encountering a new line, it is stop getting the input from the user. Or till the 100, it will keep getting the input. Okay.
Yes, ma'am.
So what is the usage of scanf then? Okay. So in scanf, let's say I'm using the scanf instead of fgets here. Percentile s comma str. And let me run the code. See, after this, I'm hitting the space and I'm giving some other values. Can you see the difference? In
Yes,
scanf,
ma'am.
what happened?
It breaks after the spaces.
Space. Yes. But in case of fgets, what happened?
Uh,
Only when I try hit the enter. That means when there is a new line, the fgets stopped. Isn't it?
Yes.
So this
Ma'am,
is
I
the
have a
difference
doubt.
between. Yeah, please.
Ma'am, in scanner, there is no address ampersand line str.
Because here we are using is an array, right? Like it's a collection. So if it is a character, you can use that ampersand. But in case of string, we are just going to get it as a block of elements and we are going to store it in the same place. So we'll not use that ampersand.
Okay, ma'am.
Is that clear?
yes, ma'am.
Okay. So, and one more thing is, if I have to use only the scanf to get the spaced values in the sense of, you can just use a neglecting the use backslash n. So by this way also you can just use it. Let's say I'm giving space and then I'm giving some other characters. Can I see this people? Ignoring. If I give us a cap symbol, which means ignore the backslash n. If there is a space, ignore it. See, by this way, you can be able to use the scanf to get the inputs with the space.
Ma'am, a scanner can do such things, but why we can use fkits? We can also do with scanf.
Yeah. But here, that is better, right? Because I no need to remember this. I have to ignore this backslash has to be given, something like this. There, I can just use if gets off. By that way, it will be able to get all the elements. There, it ignores the space, right?
Yes, ma'am. But it's okay when I use scanf.
Yeah, you can use scanf also. Then, if you have to get it with the space, you have to use this. If the
Okay,
input is with space, then you have to make sure you're using this. Is this clear to you all?
yes, ma'am.
Yes.
Similarly, instead of printf, you can use puts off. That's it. Which means in case of printf, we have to give a backslash n explicitly to mention that next line has to be printed. But in case of puts off, puts, it automatically gives the new length. That's the only difference. If you want to make a note of this, you can note it down.
Done, man.
All right. Okay, so next are the string functions, people. So the string functions are string length. Let's say if I have to find the length of the string. So in case of array, we can just use the size of an array, something like that, or you can just use the length of it, right? So similarly, here you can use the str length. That is one way. And next is string copy, which means if I have to copy one string to the another string, you can just use it as string copy of destination and from which source it has to start. Let's say from A, I have to copy to B. So you can give it as B comma A. So because B is the destination and A is the starting point. So before that, just make a note of the syntax alone, people. If it is of string length, you can just give it as a string length of, and whatever the string has to be given. Just note this one. I'll just give you a moment of time for all this. Yes, ma'am. Have you all noted? Shall I proceed further?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay. Yeah. So this is the next one, string CAT, which means to concatenate. Which means, let's say here the example is hello world. So I have to concatenate both and I have to store it in the string one. So destination has to be here and source has to be here. Okay, so from where I have to concatenate to where. And next is of string compare. String compare in the sense of it is to compare both the strings are of same characters or here for string compare the possibilities of 0, greater than 0 and less than 0. 3 possibilities are there. So before that, just note the syntax, people. Then I'll tell you how the values works.
Okay, ma'am.
Yes, ma'am. Have you all noted?
No, ma'am, we are noting, please.
Okay. Yes, ma'am. Have you noted? All right. So the string compare contains three possibilities. Like one is zero, next is greater than zero, and the next is less than zero. If it is equal to zero, means all the characters in both the indexes, let's say zeroth index in first string and zeroth index in second string, both are same in all the elements. Then it will give it as zero. If it is greater than zero, means let's say the first string is not matching, as well as it has the greater ASCII value than the second. If it is less than 0, second has the greater ASCII value than the first. Is that clear, people?
Yes, ma'am.
So the string compare gives the integer values like 0, greater than 0 and less than 0. Equal to 0 means both the values are equal. If it is greater than 0 means string 1 ASCII value is greater than string. If it is less than 0 means S1's ASCII value is less than the string. Is this clear?
Ma'am,
Hmm.
if a string 1 contains all the values with that is a string 2 contains, okay?
Okay.
But it also contains more than a string 2.
I didn't get your question.
Ma'am, suppose a string 1 contains all the values which are a string 2 contains,
Okay.
and a string also contains and more values than a string 2. Then in this case, what will be the output?
You mean to say that the first string contains, let's say, 12 characters, the second string may contain 18 characters, something like this?
Ma'am, second character is second string contains 12 characters.
Okay, if that is the case, then we have to check with the ASCII value of both, right? That's what I'm saying. Let's say here I have got the A, and here I'm getting as F. What is the ASCII value of A?
Mm, Forgetted, ma'am.
Yes, what is the SQL API?
65. Sorry,
SQL.
90.
No, capital
Sorry,
A.
90. What happened? This is correct, right?
Yes, ma'am. Capital A. SQL.
Yeah. Uppercase containing the 65 to till which character people?
Up to 90.
And here 97 to
97,
120.
120.
It's simple that you can just add 32 to this. The 65 plus 32, you'll get it as 97. So that is the difference. If you know the lower case, then from there you can subtract 32 to get the uppercase value. So you can just remember any one, and from there you can just calculate the other.
Yes, ma'am.
Is that clear?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay, next is string CHR, which means I have to check the character present or not. I mean the first occurrence of that particular character. We are going to take the string and the character. So string, character. And we have to compare. And next is of string TOK, which means nothing but we have to take the strings into a tokens based on the delimiter. So first make note of these two syntax, then we'll discuss with. Have you all noted that?
Ma'am, your voice is too low.
Okay, I'm asking that have you all noted the people?
Yes, ma'am.
Great. So string token in the sense of nothing but we have to split it based on the delimiter which is given. Delimiter in the sense of they'll give some special characters based on the comma. The default delimiter is space. Okay, the default is space. If you have to mention as comma or exclamatory or let's say if it is a dot. So these can be separately delimiters. So after comma, if there is a word, you have to split it after the comma, something like this.
Yes, ma'am.
So it will split it like, let's say I'm giving is I comma, am comma, let's say learning, something like this. So after this delimiter, it will be split. And then after there is a delimiter, it will split something like this. Is this clear?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay.
Ma'am,
Next
please
is
can you?
yeah. So let's say we have a string, right? So the string may contain a special characters, numbers, or the characters like lower and uppercase values. Let's say I'm giving the value as I dot am dot learning dot c dot something like this. So now I'm giving the delimiters dot. So after every full stop, it will just give it as a separate token. I is a separate token, am is a separate token, learning is a separate token, and C is also a separate token. Something like this.
Okay.
Is this clear?
Yes, ma'am.
And next is of string str and str, which means we are going to compare two strings. I mean, like we have to find the substring. So previously we have discussed about this string CHR, which means there it will compare the first occurrence of the particular character. Here we have to take the first occurrence of the given string, which is nothing but a substring of that. Is that clear?
Yes.
So these are the string uh, functions you can see. Okay, you get these are string operations. So now
Ma'am,
moving to this.
a string comparison can be also called word comparison.
No. So in string compare, we have to take two strings and we'll check whether the characters are same or not. But string is we have to check the first occurrence of the substring in the given string.
Okay, ma'am.
Let's say I'm giving two words: compare hello and hello. So this is of string comparison. String in the sense of in hello, I want to check whether LL is present or not. So this is a substring. I have to check whether it is present in the given string or not.
Okay, ma'am.
So first I'll check with HE whether this is equal to LL. No, I have to compare whether these both are LL. No. Then these both are LL. Something like this. But here we'll compare H with H, E with E, L with L, L with L, O with O. Something like this.
Okay, ma'am.
Is it clear to you all? Everyone?
Yes, ma'am.
Yes, ma'am.
Okay, now going to this code. So we have to go ahead with this question. So they have given string length of A. What is in the string length of A?
Ma'am, can you please repeat it?
Here the question is they have given a character array, nothing but a string with the value 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, which is within the double quote. So we can say that it is a string. Now they are asking us to find the string length of this A. So what will be the value?
Ma'am, it's 6.
Hi.
Exactly, there are six elements here. So the value will be 6. And how about this people? Consider the below array and pointer initialization. Which of the following expression will give me the answer is 4?
Ma'am,
So what is the
second and
index of
fourth
4?
option.
Okay, so how did you say it's second and fourth?
Ma'am, for output to be 4, we have to go third index,
Okay.
starting from 0. And we can also go through the pointers, P plus 3 for the third index.
Yes. So because the one containing the index of 0, nothing but P, and 2 is nothing but the index 1, I have to say it's a P plus 1. 3 means the index is 2 and this is P plus 2. 4 is nothing but the array of 3 and P plus 3. So this and this will be the answer. Is this clear, people?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay, how to compare these two arrays? I mean strings.
The first character will be matched to first character. They
Ma'am,
will
What is
be
by passing
yeah,
that strcmp function.
yes, we have to use the string compare function, strcmp function here. Is that clear?
Ma'am, will you repeat please question number 2? How that will be A3?
What is the array? Where array is mentioned as A and pointer is mentioned as P. So that's why P plus 3 and it's A. Its index is 3, right? So array of 3 is taken, or if you're using pointer, you have to use star of P plus 3. Is this clear? Yes. Okay. So which of the following statement are true regarding the strings? Is string a primitive data type?
No, ma'am.
no man. A string is not a
Actually, what data type it is? If it is
It's a
not
character.
primitive,
Character.
character data type.
means yeah, it's a character array. It's a derived character. It is a derived data type from these strings. I mean, it's a derived data type from this character. Okay. So characters are primitive data types, strings are derived data types. So it's not a primitive data type. And next is the strings are implemented as null terminator arrays. Okay. And one more thing I forgot to mention, people. Let's say if it is a string, so how that works is, let's say I'm giving my name here, that is Umayya, and there will be a null terminator will be there. So based on this only, we'll say it is the end of the string. So what is the length of the string?
1.
No, I'm asking what is the length of the string.
Ma'am, actually it's 6.
Okay.
Yes, it will
6.
take it as 6.
6.
How to find it? How to find the length of the string?
Simply count the all characters.
No, using a program.
Ma'am, strlen.
Yes, ma'am.
Yes, using strlen of the variable. By that way, I can just able to find it. So every time the string is ended with a \0, which is said to be the null terminator. Okay. So here strings containing the null terminator, the character array in the language. And the next is characters in the given string cannot be iterated over using loops. Can I use a loop to iterate through U, M, A and all?
No, ma'am.
Yes, ma'am, I think.
Actually, you can use a loop to iterate over it. But here they have given cannot be iterated. So this is not possible. Can you able to
Okay.
understand?
Ma'am, we can use its ASCII value to.
You can use a normal looping also to iterate it. Either you can use this one, or you can just give it as char x is equal to a, and something like this you can able to iterate it.
I got it.
Okay, now moving to this step. Next is given as a string. A C string can consist of one English alphabets only. Is that true?
No, ma'am, it's false.
No, ma'am.
It's never
Because
less than.
previously exactly we have seen already, right? Like you can just give the numbers also in the string data type. I mean, like in string, you can just give the numbers also like this. So that is also a problem. Okay, so here is the next question, people. So here they have given us star p is equal to ampersand a of I. What is a of I here?
F5.
Yes, a of I.
It's a H, ma'am.
So this is zeroth index, and this is of
Okay,
first,
ma'am. Okay.
second, third, fourth, and fifth, which
Okay.
means
Yes.
5. So here in pointer 5 is stored. If I just generally give it as P, what will happen? It will take from there what are the elements are there, everything is taken. Okay, because P is H. What is P plus 1?
P plus 1 E, ma'am.
E. What is P plus 2?
K.
K. So if I just use the P here, the value will be like HEK. Is this clear?
Ma'am, P will denote the only for H now.
Yeah, but it is a continuous one. You all know array and string are all continuous ones. So if I point here, all the elements will be taken, right? From there, all the elements are taken. Let's say if I'm just giving star p is equal to a. So from a, it is taking it, right?
Okay, ma'am. Okay.
The same, instead of 0, if they have given us 0, it will take the whole string as Abhishek. Or if I have just given us a, normally a also, it will take from the starting, that is Abhishek. Just they have mentioned then index value, so from there it will start to take. Is it clear?
Yes, ma'am. Clear.
Great. So how to copy the string A to string B?
strcpy, ma'am.
Using a
Okay.
string copy,
Okay, string copy. What? Which has to be the
str.
okay? The first has to be the source or destination,
Ma'am, it's a
Destination.
destination.
Destination. B, I.
and this is of source. So what is the destination? I have to store it in B
B.
from A. So it's B comma A. Is it clear?
Yes, ma'am.
Yes, ma'am.
Okay. Suppose you want to change. You want the changes made to the formal parameter of the function to be reflected in the actual parameter. Then which function, like either call by reference or call by value, which is used?
Call by reference, ma'am.
What is call by reference?
Call by reference, ma'am, that we can change the value of variables.
Yeah. So let's say, do you remember the swap example which I have mentioned just before?
Yes,
Yeah. So what we did is, if I have to change the values, will use it the pointers. Okay. First we'll pass it with the address, then we'll use the pointers to take the star A and star B value. So this is said to be the call by reference value, reference methods. Okay. So if I have to, whatever the changes made in the formal, which has to affect the actual in the sense of from the method, I mean function call also it has to be changed, which means it's called by reference. Is that clear, people?
Yes, ma'am.
Yes. Okay. So here the question is, consider that the following code runs on a 64-bit machine where the size of the integer data type is 4 bytes and the size of the integer pointer is 8 bytes. Fine. So here they are giving the array of size 12, that is 1 to 12 is given. Then here they are trying to print size of x divided by size of an integer. So what is the value?
Ma'am, it's 12, I think.
not 12.
Why it is 12 and why it is not 12?
Ma'am, not 12 will be because the size of x will be 12 and it is divided upon size of int, which is given, that is 4.
Oh, yeah, saying the size of the x is 12. 3. No, Sudhanshu. Anyway, quit it.
Ma'am, X is a array, right? Or X contains 12 elements. So I thought
Yes.
12 into elements data type multi. So 4. So 12 into 4, 48 divided by size of integer, that is 4. So that's why 12.
Okay.
I don't really
Uh,
sure about this, but this is my guess.
Okay. Yes, someone and you.
ma'am, will the size of x will be 12?
Mm, 1 minute. Actually, here the size of the x should be like 1 minute.
Like 8.
Yes, actually it has to be 8.
Uh, yes, ma'am, but how?
I'll check with this question, people. We can discuss this question on Thursday. So just hold on this question. Meanwhile, I'll just discuss the other questions. Okay.
Mm, okay, ma'am.
And here is the next question, people. What is the size of the array?
20, ma'am.
How it is 20?
Ma'am, because a space is also included in a string size.
Okay.
Uh, yes, ma'am, we can count from hello is itself 5 characters and one space and C and one another space and starts counting from P to Z. It will be 12. It will be
Okay.
20.
So
Yes, ma'am.
only 19 characters are there, right?
Yes, ma'am, it will be 19.
100. 19 characters are here, right?
Mm, lit.
You can just count this.
Yes, ma'am, it's giving a 19.
1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Space is considered 6. C is 7. 8 is space. 9 is P. R is 10. This is of 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, 17, 18, and 19. Then how it is 20? What is the difference between string length and size of methods? I mean, like, what is the difference between string length method and size of operator?
Ma'am, is size of contains that null
Uh,
element?
Yes,
Spaces are
actually,
also
size of
included.
exactly size of includes the null terminator as well. So that's why here we have got 19 characters plus backslash 0, which is also considered, which means 20. If it is of string length, we would have got only 19. Is this clear?
Yeah, ma'am.
Okay, now tell me what will be the answer. Either it will print A or B or C.
No, it's C.
Why it is C?
Because ma'am, in the first string, str1, it has 4 elements and second string 3. So that's why first string has more element than second. So it's greater than 0. Output will be greater than 0. And it's not less than 0 and not equal to 0. That's why the else condition hits and C gets printed.
Okay, will that check the ASCII value or the character? I mean, like, will it check the ASCII value or just the length?
I think ma'am length is, but I don't really sure.
First, it will check with length. Parallelly, it will check with the ASCII values as well. Do you remember when I'm saying that, let's say if I'm taking two characters, we have two possibilities, right? I mean, three possibilities. 0, greater than 0, and less than 0. When it will be greater than 0?
Oh yeah, ma'am, I can remember. Uh,
If the ASCII value of the
Uh,
first is first is lesser than the second in the sense of we'll go ahead with less than 0. This
Option
is
C
of
will be
ASCII.
ma'am.
Option C or answer C?
Ma'am, answer C.
Okay, I think both also the same. Answer C is right.
Yes, ma'am.
Because here we'll get it as greater than 0. Because the two reasons, one is let's say God and what. Of
Good is
course,
greater.
Yeah, of course, zero's ASCII value is also higher than the D as well. Okay.
Yes.
Okay. What will be the output of this?
Ma'am, if the string length will be differ, then the sky value should also be differ.
Yeah, ASCII
Is it?
value also, like it's like either or condition. If the both the conditions are same, then we'll check with this. If it is greater, then we'll proceed further.
Okay.
Ma'am, it should be G.
How it is G?
Ma'am, because it points the sixth locations of array.
Yes. Yeah, you're right. So this is of P. This is P plus 1. Space is
And
P plus 2, P plus 3, P plus 4, and P plus 5, which is nothing but G. Is it clear, people?
Yes, ma'am.
So here the answer will be G. Yeah, here what is the size of the array? What is the size of the array A, people?
10,
10, ma'am.
How it is 10? What is the size of an integer?
40.
Exactly, it's 40, right? Because the array can, like, for each integer, it is of 4. How many elements it can hold?
ma'am, 40 to 10, 40.
Okay, and a pointer is given.
The pointer
So also,
is 8 byte.
yes. So 40 and 8. Is this clear?
Yes, ma'am.
Do you remember in previous question also they have mentioned the size of an integer pointer is 8 bytes. Okay. Okay. Here the question is, which of the following snippets will produce an error here?
Ma'am, I didn't understand the question number 12. Will you repeat, please, ma'am?
So here they have created an array. And what is the size of an array? Array can hold how many elements here?
10.
Yes. So what is the size of an integer?
4.
Okay. So the first element will take 4 bytes. How about second element?
Same. Oh, so that will be 40. Okay, ma'am. And what about B?
Yes. B is a integer pointer, right?
Yes, ma'am.
Integer pointer size is 8 bytes. So that's why it's 40 and 8. Is this clear?
Okay, ma'am. Clear.
Yeah. Now tell me the answer for this question. Select
Second
all the
is
C program.
Option C will give an error.
Okay.
Yes, ma'am, because it directly stores the value, integer's value, pointer.
ma'am,
Okay.
B and
So
C
how,
both.
why it is B?
In a B, we cannot assign any value like this second line, which is B at a first index. We cannot assign A directly.
Yes. B is right. And how about this D? Is that right?
No, ma'am. C of third one is also error
Yeah. The why third one is an error?
because a point star A is not pointing anything, or we can say it's not correct. It's not
Then
appropriate thing to assign value.
yes. Now it's right. It's not a proper way to assign it. Okay. And here is the next question. Okay. And now tell me more. What is the answer for this question?
Now it's 7.
How it is 7?
Because in first A array that contains 4 elements, and the third Sorry, ma'am. It's not 7. I guess short.
It is
Ma'am,
4
I'm wrong.
into 4.
4
So for
into 4.
first,
4 into 4, that is 16. Plus,
okay, and here it can hold only 3 elements, right?
yes,
Yeah, ma'am.
ma'am.
3
3
into
into
2.
2,
That's
6.
6. So 12 will be the answer.
12.
20, 22.
Sorry, ma'am.
It's
22.
16. What happened, man?
Sorry, ma'am. By mistake.
Okay, yeah. Here they have mentioned that the output of the program has to be A, comma B, comma C. That's it. But here the array, like the string contains A, comma B, comma C, comma D. So I have to give a null terminator at which location?
Ma'am, third end. Third location.
So this is the first index, second index, third index, which means here,
No, ma'am.
then
Okay.
so where it has to be given people. This is your
6.
0th index, 0th index, and this
I
is your
think it should
first
be 5.
index, 2, 3, 4, and
5, ma'am.
fifth index. So here the answer has to be 5.
5.
Is it clear, people?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay. Do you have
Yes.
any doubts so far?
Yes, ma'am. I have doubts in PPAs.
Okay. In which the week 7 or week 6?
In week 7, ma'am.
Okay. So do you have a next session at 8 o'clock?
Yeah, ma'am.
Yes,
Actually, we have.
we
Yes,
have.
ma'am. Tomorrow.
Okay. Anyway, on Thursday session, we'll be discussing this PPH people, so no need to worry about it.
Okay, ma'am.
Yeah.
No, actually, I
Okay.
should try after this session. So I got many more clarity after this session.
Then it's fine. You just give it a try. If you have doubt, you can ask to the instructor who's taking session on like on Thursday.
Yeah, ma'am. Okay. Thank
Yeah.
you, ma'am.
Okay, people. If you have no doubts, you can leave. Thank you, everyone.
Thank you, ma'am.
Thank you,
Thank you
ma'am.
very much.
Thank you, ma'am.